And we're live on YouTube, and I'm back with my favourite referees. I said MMA referees on the intro, but you guys do all kinds of combat. We'll come on to that in a bit, but welcome, Happy New Year to Dan Movahedi and Sam Amidi.
Hey, thank you for having us, Jay, and Happy New Year. Yeah,
hashtag KFC man.
KFC man. Yeah, sorry guys, I couldn't bring the food to the table today. I had dinner a bit early today. So, yeah, I just thought I'd give you the name.
Sam, it's catching on because even Ricky Wright is gunning on you as well.
Ricky Wright, loving it.
Post, I know.
I think Ricky Wright's role model. I think Ricky Wright's role model. Ricky's a vegetarian, right? If I remember correctly.
He is, yeah. No, he is, yeah.
Ricky, if you're watching this, I'll change your mind, mate.
So one of the important questions that was sent in advance, Sam, was, I think it was either yesterday or at some point this weekend, you had a Burger King and a KFC together, and people wanted to know which one was the best.
I'm not going to lie. The problem was with my KFC, my Burger King, was I asked for a slice of cheese on it and they forgot to put the cheese in my burger, so it kind of ruined it a bit. Normally, I'll always, tip towards KFC all day, but I fancied a burger yesterday as well. And then I had KFC there as well, so I thought I'd get both after a long walk in the park, so I had to refuel. So
it's a shame you're not. Listen, it's a shame that you're not so in depth about your rules talk than you are when you do your food.
You can talk. I'll help you out. Your rules talk every time.
I think Chris Emmanuel wanted to know how you're staying in shape when you can't be on the mats at the moment, Sam, but you're still consuming.
Yeah, that's a mystery, but I don't know about being in shape. I just think I hide it well.
Well, listen to the stinker that we had back in December when kind of all rules went out the window. Lee went and got me the gravy box from KFC. I love their gravy in there, absolutely immense. They put in baked beans instead of gravy. So we got all the way home. There's not even one close to us. All the way home, we had a KFC gravy box with no gravy.
If you're clever about it, you call them up, you complain, and they give you a free meal next time. That's what
I did call them. And it's a new branch, so there's no phone number for it online. So I ended up emailing them, and they've sent me vouchers. So they have redeemed themselves. But I don't want to be eating KFC in January. I'm trying
I'll have your vouchers. I'll have your vouchers. Simple solution, Katie. I've given you my email address earlier. You know where to email it to.
So anyway, guys, I'm sure some more food questions will come in as we go throughout the interview, but let's touch on some MMA.
Yeah, let's
get to the main point.
So last year must have been such a strange year for you guys, because usually it's pretty much every weekend you're somewhere officiating, either refereeing or for MMA or boxing or K1 or whatever. So first of all, how was it to spend pretty much the best part of a year in a totally different kind of vibe?
Yeah, I mean, I think last time when we spoke, we were saying how fortunate. I mean, I know myself, and I'm sure Sam feels the same with some of the stuff that he's done. Fortunate that we got the gigs that we did get, whether it be Cage Warriors, Contenders, UFC, and obviously Sam done Karate Combat as well. We're fortunate enough to be in the position that we was, and that we got to officiate some shows, and it is what it is, we're just in a situation, and we're not the only ones who is in that situation. Other referees are, other fighters are, cutmen, judges, commissioners, whatever it may be. Everyone's in the same boat, and touch wood, 2021 just starts getting a bit better,
Yeah. And you mentioned Karate Combat there, Dan. Sam, you were officiating for that. It was kind of a new thing, and it was, what TV channel was it on again? It was on Sky?
No, it was on BN Sports. They released all their fights on YouTube. So the fights are kind of pre-recorded. So we do. So I was actually fortunate enough, obviously, to kind of get called up and. One minute.
What were your rules, Dan?
Didn't put it in the chat.
You did tell me. Apologies, guys. You might hear her in the background shouting a bit. She's just a bit hype at the moment. So I was fortunate enough to kind of get called up. One of our kind of fellow referees that we work with, Kevin Sataki, needed basically a second official to come on with him and work the show. So we done 2 shows one time, and then we've done 1 show kind of a few months later as well. And basically they pre-record all the shows. I'm sure you guys will have seen, they kind of put like the animation background, so they kind of do it as a thing. So whether it's Cambodia, whether it's a Neo theme in Japan, that's kind of their kind of full process behind it, bringing that kind of gaming aspect to actual real fights. And it is karate, so the kind of rule set behind it is kind of karate based, but not like kind of your typical traditional point scoring system. It is full on, combative karate. They just kind of go at it for the full 3 minutes each round. And as I said, it was quite fortunate to kind of be part of that show. For me, it is still quite a new concept, so it is still growing and evolving. They bring fighters from South America, Russia, Europe, some of the Asian countries as well. So they've got a good roster. They're, as you can see, they're growing, growing and scaling. And it's actually really, really good. I love just the whole atmosphere, the pit. The kind of whole visuals is something different. And especially during the lockdown, it just brought something different to people to be able to watch. So they release their fights on YouTube every Sunday, so they release a new show. At the moment, I think they've pretty much covered off all their seasons now, so we're just waiting to. Sorry.
Get out of the room.
It's lockdown life. It's usually Peter Knox's children that are becoming guests of the show.
While he's sorting them out, I think what Sam. I mean, man, what an opportunity to be able to meet someone like Baz Rutten. That's one of the people I used to watch. Growing up in the MMA scene, see him commentating on Pride. I mean, what a cool opportunity to meet that legend. I think that's amazing. And I know Sam was telling me in person that he's such a nice guy, and some of the things he got to experience. And I guess from watching, have you watched any of them, Kay?
Yeah, I did watch a couple of them. I didn't realise they were on YouTube though, so I will. I'm going to go back and watch some more of them. Yeah. But it was presented by Layla Anna Lee as well, wasn't it? And
and Josh Palmer did the commentary as well.
Yeah.
They got a strong team there. Sorry,
you're back.
I'm back here. I've had to come downstairs instead to get away from it. I'll have to run back up in a minute. But great commentary team. They bring like a guest kind of appearance of someone like last time they had Half 4, which was a bit of a surprise. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We're listening.
Sorry. I actually saw him from a distance. I was like, nah, that's not him. That's definitely not the Mountain. Like, no, it is. I was like, no. And from a distance, it actually didn't look massive. And then when he stood next to me, I was like, yeah, I can't believe you guys. He's a bit of a visual. Yeah, but then you got Baz Rutten, who's like brilliant to work with. His knowledge is great, basically. His knowledge is great.
I always say that anyone who says don't meet your heroes didn't have MMA heroes, because I've never met a bad person in MMA. Like, they're just, everybody's got time for you. I mean, I know they're not kind of David Beckham famous, so maybe they're not as bored or worn down of it. But in our world, they are. Yeah,
exactly. In our world, and on our bucket list of people to meet or to work with. They of course they are.
Hell yeah.
What did you, when I first watched it, obviously I knew about Combat Karate before Sam went on there, because I'd done a couple of pilot shows before it was taken off. The concept of it, it was hard to get hold of and to watch and to get used to, because they're wearing like amateur MMA gloves.
Yeah.
And obviously they're allowed to strike. I mean, is it 5 seconds, Sam, on the floor they're allowed to strike?
Yeah, so if you get a takedown, you've got 5 seconds to basically throw straight strikes and punches. So there's no really kind of other techniques you can throw. It's literally just punches. No action techniques. You can't kick your opponent if they're on the ground. Obviously, they can up kick you if you're standing. So the rules are obviously, it is there to give a bit of a blend of an MMA. It's more to kind of have the action flow. If someone in karate, obviously throw people on the floor, but they don't want the action to pause there and then. They want it to kind of continue for a bit before you stop them and stand them up.
Yeah.
And you had some good knockouts on it, didn't you?
Oh, brilliant knockouts. Honestly, if anyone wants to see some, real highlight reels, it's really worth watching a few of the episodes. Or just look at their Twitter page. It's honestly, some of the knockouts were just phenomenal. Like, these guys, they go out, technically, they're really great at what they do in terms of karate. Obviously, they're not exactly your kind of traditional MMA fighters or anything. But as I said, it's a new concept. Some of these guys are new to it. They are only going to evolve into it, just like how MMA was 20, 25 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Look at how they used to compete. Technically,
I've got a question for you, though, Sam.
Yeah, come.
I've got a question. How hot was it wearing a turtleneck whilst refereeing?
God, it's one of my bugbearers. You know this, Dan, right? I've got a uniform, right? And I've got a real specific way of how I get ready. So if anyone watches me at an event, I'll always kind of sit in my own normal clothes, tracksuit or jeans, t-shirt, wherever I'm in, do the rules talk 15 minutes before the first fight starts, and when I actually start getting changed. It's just how I am, but we couldn't really do that there, and they give you this turtleneck top, which it wasn't great to wear, I have to admit, but it's the rules. I can't argue.
So does it take long to get into, like, when it's a new rule set and something that you haven't refereed before, is it like instant that you like, or is quick straight away with, or is there like a split second where you're thinking about if something's legal or not?
Do you know what? That's a really, really good question. And the concept of actually understanding, if that fighter's in danger doesn't change at all, no matter what the combat sport is. Okay, if a fighter's in danger, you sense it, you know it.
Yeah.
Whether it's boxing, K1, Thai boxing, which we do, MMA, obviously, or combat karate. So that's the key thing. As long as you're competent in being able to assess and judge whether someone is in a bad situation, you have to make that stop. It is obviously key. Then, in terms of the rule set itself, obviously, I have to kind of get myself familiar with it. I'll try and watch as many fights as I can prior to an event. You are going to make slight mistakes, obviously, in terms of the actual rules. And when I say mistakes, you will kind of question, was that right? Was that wrong? But as I said, the key thing is are you keeping them fighters safe, which is the main thing. In terms of the rules, whether I'm giving 5 seconds, when I was first doing it, I was, during the takedown, they want you to kind of put your hand up and then do the 5-second countdown.
Right.
At first, I wasn't doing that, right? So I wasn't putting my hand up and doing the 5-second countdown, but I was verbally saying it. So, it's sometimes it's the small things that you just need to kind of get your mind used to, because in MMA or, even in like boxing, we do the count to the fight, but we don't fight so everyone else can see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it is like adapting, but as I said, the good thing is we cover boxing, K1, Thai boxing, so I'm used to the stand-up concept of a fight and how to position myself and move with the fight. And as long as I'm keeping the fighter safe, look, we're all accountable. Sometimes we do make slight errors and judgment errors in terms of the actual rule sets. It is a new sport, but I'll probably say after my first few fights, I was pretty competent with it. I don't think I didn't really have any issues anyways, but there could have been small errors people spotted.
So when is that coming back? When will we see it again? Do you know?
So they're at the moment trying to put together dates. I mean, obviously COVID doesn't help, even though they kind of do it in a COVID or they do all the testing and stuff. But where they record it, it just depends on whether we can travel there, which is, we travel to Budapest to do it. So it's whether their laws and policies allow us everyone to go out there, because as I said, a lot of their fighters are from South America as well. Given the situation in South America right now, it's probably going to be, you know, a couple months, I reckon, before they put an event on.
I like to see stuff like that though, with them kind of changing rule sets or merging rule sets, and like obviously they do it with jiu-jitsu as well to try and make it, I guess, more entertaining for people to watch, because even though you can appreciate the skill involved, and if you train those martial arts yourself, like you know how difficult it is, sometimes they can be not the most exciting to watch as a spectator. So it is quite fun, I think, to adapt the rule sets like that.
Also, okay, if you look at it, they haven't gone, like, I know you're saying you like new concepts, but they haven't gone silly doing, oh, we're going to do an open weight competition. Or, do you know what I mean? They've still kept within they've done weight categories. Obviously set uniform as well. Everyone wears the same sort of gloves, you know, so, and obviously the referees, etc.
It's not like QFC.
No.
That's not
that is going to get a call out from QFC.
But yeah, no, you know what I mean? So it's good, like you said, like with the EBI tournaments and the combat jiu-jitsu, and obviously you got submission grappling as well, Stug. Yeah, it's just a different concept, you know, like for example, the Chow Sun one that he puts on is inside a cage, you know, so you have a different concept of grappling. You know, you can use the cage to get up, you can use the fence to take takedowns, whatever it may be. So yeah, it gives the audience something different to look at, you know, but
the matchups he puts on as well were just insane.
Honestly,
like,
brilliant.
It's unreal.
We look at it was the last one I watched, Or Cerrone versus Dos Anjos. So you know that's a good one. You know, Ryan Bader, I think he's been on there a couple of times. So yeah, I mean they are pretty cool matchups to watch. And then sometimes when you're watching, you think, oh, if only they just had MMA gloves on and it was just an MMA fight, you know. Or you see, you know, having Ryan Bader fighting someone, and you think, oh, this could have been a cross promotion, Bellator, UFC, you know, but. I guess he's teasing you, isn't he? He can get away with it because it's a grappling tournament.
Yeah. Exactly.
Kind of giving the fans of the sport a little something, you know, a little teaser.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like you say, giving the fans a glimpse into what might have been.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows?
So, what other events did you cover towards the end of the year? Because I think we spoke kind of
after Contenders,
after Contenders, yeah. So I'm not too sure how many other events kind of went on before the end of the year.
Honestly, nothing really done. Obviously, we had the UFC, Sam had Karate Combat, and I had Cage Warriors. That's it, really. As far as
Cage Warriors, of course.
There was no local shows really going on, as in like.
No, it wasn't no local shows. I mean, obviously, I've done Bellator from the commission aspect of it. A few weeks. So we've done 2 weeks in Italy and then a week in France, which was obviously pretty awesome because they had an audience in France as well.
Yeah.
So it was quite a welcome change to have a little bit of an audience, and it was a phenomenal event. So we've done that. I think obviously prior to the lockdown was Cage Warriors Academy, if I remember correctly.
That was my last one.
That's the final event, right? And then I think we then went into lockdown.
Because there was Cage Warriors on the same night in Manchester, and we were at Cage Warriors Academy.
That's it.
That was it.
I know. You know, like you said, Kay, there's you know, lucky enough that like we said, we've done the events that we've done, and that we've done it with affiliations that have been able to form a bubble. Like when Sam went to Budapest, he was in a bubble. They've done all the COVID secure stuff over there. Obviously with the UFC, obviously Fight Island. I need to bang on about that. You guys have seen it now, what they do out there. And with Cage Warriors, same thing. You know, when I've done the Manchester one and then done the London one, same thing. You're in a bubble, you get tested, you stay there for a week, and you have 3 events in 1 week, which was pretty epic, pretty cool.
So 2021, we did have quite a few events announced kind of
early on.
Yeah, first quarter. Slowly but surely they seem to be being cancelled, which is such a shame. But I'm hopeful with the vaccine rollout that the second half of the year should be good. I'm still not sure about Cage Warriors Academy was announced for 3rd of April.
That
So,
one, I guess we'll see what's announced in February, right?
yeah.
Because I mean, if we get announced that, you know, the guys, especially the amateur guys, these are the people. Obviously, the professional guys, to some extent, they can, depending on what promotion to fight for, and you know what they can do. But it's the amateur guys, you kind of feel for at the moment as well. You know, I mean, there's people I personally know, I've spoken to from, obviously got some of the pro guys going, oh look, we've got this guy waiting to make his amateur debut, or he's looking to fight 2 more times amateur before he turns pro, whatever it may be, you know. And obviously the promoters themselves, but you know, that hopefully we'll get some sort of good news, you know, to see what crops up and what we can do. But like I said, we're not just the only ones, not just in England, the UK, you know, around the world. Some of the other officials that we work with across the state in Europe, they're in the same boat, you know. Again, we just got to be fortunate, you know, count our blessings that we got to do some of the events that we do.
100%.
Yeah.
Chris Scadden, who is our MMA UK fan of 2020, says, good evening and Happy New Year, people. He is a top bloke, isn't he? Happy New Year to you, Chris.
Happy New Year, Chris. Yeah, but, you know, like I said, we're fortunate, yeah, it's a new year, and let's see what happens, you know.
Yeah.
We'll go from there.
The main thing is we're all healthy. You know, this COVID stuff it is quite frightening. I think Dan will know. I'm happy to kind of discuss it here. Me and my family, we all had it over the Christmas and New Year period. You know, it's not a nice thing, right? You know, but thankfully we didn't have too many bad symptoms. I'll probably say my worst symptom, hand on heart,
couldn't taste anything.
No, I could taste it. I couldn't eat my Christmas dinner. I couldn't enjoy it.
You know,
honestly,
you know when it's real, when this guy calls me up and goes, Dan, I know I'm ill because I've lost my appetite. And I'm like, okay, he must be sick. If this guy can't eat,
it's bad.
Appetite, you know it's for real.
My mum tried to get me to get KFC. She's like, do you want me to get you KFC? I was like, no, I really don't fancy it. I know, that's how bad it was. But that's the worst I had, right? It's the appetite. I had a bit of body aches and headaches. But you know what? Count our blessing. You know, we all got through it. You know, thankfully, just wasn't obviously a nice experience. That I guess the time period it come out during the Christmas period wasn't nice. But as I said, healthy, we're all fine. We got through it okay. So
I'm glad you're back to
eating.
Health and well-being, and obviously the appetite has returned, which is a relief.
That's the key. That's the key. The appetite's returned. I think I lost a couple of kilos during that period, but it's all back on now. So don't worry, guys.
Anyone who was panicking, is back in business. So the first event of the year that I've seen was the UFC last Saturday. God, what an opening! Max Holloway just looked sublime, absolutely phenomenal. What did you make of it, Sam?
For me, yeah, I mean, it's the whole event from start to finish. Sitting back here and watching it as a fan, you know, and first things first, starting at 5 p.m. British time was lovely.
Bring it on. It's so good.
I don't think my 2 boys appreciate it because obviously I had to kick them off the TV and off the PlayStation. But they sat down and watched some of the fights. But yeah, it was nice to see. Again, on the official point of view, nice to see all the officials and the judges and commissioners back out there again. And obviously, yeah, the fights from start to finish for me was everything. The main event, 2 warriors out there. Again, I know I bang on about this, but even some of the earlier fights where we had some knockouts, spoiler alert, no one's seen it, but you've got to appreciate what these athletes put themselves through and put themselves on the line for our entertainment. Even as 2 referees and a journalist who's sitting here now, you know, I appreciate what they do because, like I said, I was sitting there having a couple of beers and enjoying my evening at the expense of someone's health, you know, and art that they were doing. So it was fun.
It was an insane performance from Max, and I just don't know how Calvin took it. A question here from Chris. I know it's difficult for you to answer these. You knew it would happen, though. Was there a point during the main event at the weekend that you thought that maybe you could have stepped in?
I'll be honest with you, Chris. it's easier to say it from TV screen that we would have stopped it and stepped in at certain points. When you're in that cage and all you can focus on, you know, because you go straight into tunnel vision and you just literally watch these two fighters, you can kind of see in that scenario in a lot more detail the fighters, obviously, you know, in this case, Qatar's body reaction. Is he responding? How is his response? As I said, from us, you know, sitting watching it on TV, it is a lot easier to say we would have stopped it here or would have stopped it there. But when you're actually there in between two people, obviously not in between, not stepping away from two people, it's honestly it's a different judgment call. Like it's two different fights you're watching. One, you're watching it one way on the TV, but in the actual fight, there's a lot more emotional body reactions. There's
and at the end of the day, it is. At the end of the day, it's down to the referee. You know, we're not.
He was throwing back though, wasn't he? And
he was throwing some elbows.
He was moving. Yeah. And I felt like I didn't think. I thought he did enough to stay in the fight, and if anything, I thought perhaps his corner could have thrown in the towel. But I think with a guy like that can throw absolute bombs, and it might only take one, they didn't want to take away that chance that it could, while he was still wanting it to be in that fight himself, they didn't want to take away the very slim chance, but the chance that one of those shots could connect and knock him out in one punch. And I feel like if he was just taking and he wasn't even trying anymore, then that would be different. But he was still trying for that, like that hope in hell right till the final bell.
Yeah, and every fighter is going to be trying at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. We've been in situations where we've stopped the fight, and you know, guy gets us out on his feet, and he's gone, you should have let me get knocked out, whatever. But the bottom line is, we want the referees in there. We can't make that call, and like Sam says, it's easier for us to sit at home and go, you know, this should have happened, that should have happened. I've had it done to me. I'm sure Sam's had it done to him. With other fans, other people going, he should have stepped in or he shouldn't have stepped in. But at the end of the day, the referee's in there to make that judgment call, and you know, and if they're there. Bottom line is, you've got an experienced referee in there looking after the safety of the fighters. So you know,
only he can answer that question. Really, hindsight on reflection, could he have stopped it earlier or not? You know, that's really down to the referee in question.
Yeah, I found it hard to watch, but I could also see why it wasn't stopped. Like I felt like he was doing enough, but it was a very one-sided fight, like one of the most one-sided main events I've seen for a long time. But it was just exceptional from Max, and Calvin just almost too much heart for his own good.
Yeah, Max was phenomenal, right? I think just his jab in boxing was just.
He's so beautiful to watch.
He didn't even spar. He had no sparring. That's what's remarkable.
So that was another thing that I wanted to ask you about. Actually, I'm so pleased that this is working out for him, because there was a scary time a few fights back where one of his fights got cancelled after Bisping was interviewing him and he was saying that he didn't sound right, and there's a few things that came out of camp, like his team had like taken him ages to wake him up when he was doing his weight cut and stuff, and there was rumours like that he'd had a stroke or something. So for me, like, even though he's not old at all, he's been fighting from a young age, and I'm really glad to see that he's like not taking any more damage in training. What do you guys think of people not?
Go on, Sam.
Go on. I was going to say, look, you can. I know it's hard to replicate. Don't replicate someone hitting you back, right? But I think Max is been there, done that. He kind of knows, you know, when his fight IQ is really high. So for him, you know, sparring probably might not add, you know, another dimension to his fight game, because he's probably already got that, and you can clearly he just believed in his own tools. And I think that's really what it was. You know, in his mindset, he believed what he can bring to that fight was enough, and he didn't have to replicate what his opposition fighter was going to bring to the table for people. And by doing that, he minimized his risk of injury. You know, and it seemed like for me, he looked phenomenal shape. You know,
But was that from choice? Him not sparring. My understanding was because COVID had happened. He couldn't get in the gym, so his way of training had to change. So he was doing more strength and conditioning, cardio workouts, pad workout, but no sparring. That was my understanding.
Well, in the post-fight presser, he said it was about saving his brain as well. He actually said that in the post-fight. I think that is why he initially started training that way, because like he keeps saying about training on Zoom, doesn't he? Like, which can I just tell you, I haven't improved by any of the Zoom training I've been doing. But yeah, so that's definitely, I think, why he started it. But I'm hoping that like he will stick to training that way, because he looked immense, and I expected him to need a round to kind of find his range and stuff, like maybe not be as sharp, but he didn't need that. You know
what the whole remind me. Obviously, it was a big occasion as well for the UFC themselves, being on the ABC channel. In the States.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when I remember watching this live as well, when it was Forrest Griffin versus Stephen Bonner, and everything, obviously not to the same scale as in, you know, the whole company was depending on this fight to be able to succeed, etc. I'm sure everyone knows the story. But that type of hype being on, you could just imagine how many new fans or how many people who wouldn't normally watch MMA fight or UFC, and that, you know, it was prime time for them as well over there when it was being shown. Man, to have that card, not just that fight, go give credit to the other guys and girls who fought on that card from top to bottom. For me, it was, I thought it was fantastic.
It really was quality card.
Yeah, it was. Peter Knox says the judges should be sacked. Max didn't win. He also said, do you think refs should decide the winner of fights that go to a decision?
No. Definitely
you
not.
You guys are watching like the action more than like who's winning the fight, right?
Oh yeah, there's no way. Judging a fight is completely different to refereeing a fight. They're two different things. Dan, can you hear? Sorry, I know you.
Yes, I can hear you. Yep.
So they're two different things. When you're focusing on a fight, you're focusing on you know the rules aspect, the safety aspect.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there trying to judge who's thrown, you know, what exactly to an extent to judge the round and who's won. They're two different things you're looking at. So
especially imagine trying to do that over a 5 round.
Oh, we'll clock it up. Refs will clock it up. Could you imagine?
20
You're hated enough.
Yeah. We get, as referees, we get slated as it is, but you know, having 5-minute round and you know, having to judge. No, you know, at the end of the day, and the judges. I mean, I've got to give them a mention. The British judges that were there as well. You know, Cartledge, Lefferby, and Paul Sutherland there as well. Who were judging, and some of the other guys from
American guys as well.
Yeah,
Spawn. Yeah.
If you go back and look at MMA decisions on the scorecards, majority of fights, I mean, they all had the same.
And there's some close fights as well. So, you know, credit where it's true. I thought they've done a phenomenal job out there.
Yeah, and credit to John Anik as well for getting the judging criteria right. There's nothing that gets my goat more than them just like talking crap on the commentary about like what should score in the judges' scorecard. So.
You know what? Saying that, Kat, it's good. It's good that commentators are reaching out to other officials. I mean, one I know of is obviously, and I think DC's made it public. Daniel Cormier had been speaking to Ben Cartledge, and Ben Cartledge has been explaining some of the criteria or how you would look at a fight and how you would judge it and what the criteria are. And then that, to me, for someone to reach out to another official at that standard anyway, to want to educate themselves, want to know better about the fights that they're commentating on, or just a better understanding.
Slightly concerning that he went through his whole fight career without knowing, though.
Yeah.
He's checking the rules after he's retired.
Checking the criteria before he retired. No, it's a good. It's good to see, you know. And obviously you got like Dan Hardy as well. He's obviously him and Goddard talk a lot. So it's good to see commentators and ex-fighters having that knowledge, and it does honestly make it easier for us, as whether it be refereeing or judging, having people know what they're talking about. Whereas you still obviously you see on TV, you see the Twitter thing pop up on live TV. What's this ref doing? Or I had it 10-9 the other way, or this was the effective striking. You're sitting there going, really? What was you watching? Or how? What criteria was you using? But when you do explain it to people and you do break it down, then they're like, oh, actually, yeah, I can see why there's an argument for that score or whatever it may be.
And I actually thought the Max Calvin scorecards were like spot on as well.
Yeah. Again, obviously during the times where we haven't got an event, Sam and I are lucky enough that we got a WhatsApp group with some of our other officials that we even still now discuss. Oh, how did you see it? Did you see it like this? And then one person might have seen it differently, but we'll put our reasonings why we saw it like this, or how it fell into the criteria. Just keeps that mind sharp, and actually a bit of fun and a bit of banter as well. Actually makes us want to watch fights, and we can discuss within a group of officials as well, which makes it about Sam. Sam's busy eating all the time, but keeps me busy.
And the co-main was between two legends, Carlos Condit and Matt Brown. Went to a decision. And Carlos got the decision after a 5-fight skid. He's now got 2 wins, and that was the last fight on his contract. So I'm not sure what's next for him. I was thinking, because Diego Sanchez wants one more fight before he retires, I was thinking that might be a good fight. And then I sent you guys earlier the tweet from Dan Hardy saying he wants to come back for either Condit, Matt Brown. He said Diaz. I don't know whether he means Nick or Nate, or whether he doesn't care. Maybe he doesn't care. Or Diego Sanchez. How good would that be?
As a fanboy, 100%. I mean, Condit, even before I got into refereeing, that guy's been fighting for God knows, it was his 43rd fight this time, wasn't it, or something like that?
It's in his 40s, definitely.
Yeah.
He's been fighting for years, and and could you imagine Hardy coming out of retirement? Well, no, he's not retired. Coming out to fight one of these guys. I know he's always training, because I follow him on Instagram and Twitter. He's always putting something up, doing pad work, bag work. And obviously, he runs a gym as well when it opens up. So, yeah, it'd be good, one for the fans, so to speak.
Yeah, watching 2 pioneers like that will be great. Be a great spectacle to watch. And although you might say they might be out there prime, they might not be. The fact is, they're both still sharp. They're both still keeping in shape. Fan, as Dan said, you'd love to see it.
I really like the people that he's called out as well. Like, I think they're all good matchups. Like, whichever one he ended up with, if it was one of them, I just think he's aiming it exactly right. It is a legends fight or a pioneers fight, and it would be nice to see him back in there. I don't know if he's back in the USADA testing pool yet. He keeps talking about it. It'd be interesting to know if he is, but I hope that they wait until the fans can get their hands on tickets more easily before he does make that comeback.
Mainly you, right, Kate?
I'll be there.
Talking about fans, though, I mean, I know Sam mentioned Bellator had it in France, but even having the fans in Abu Dhabi, what was it, I think 2,000 people they had there towards the end of the night. They were giving some good encouragement to the fighters, and made it. Because I saw a couple of people message comment, would the fight been different if there was no crowd, or did they, feed on that? And you got to say, I thought they did. I thought they fed on the crowd, even though it was only 2,000 people there. I thought it made a difference, and you could tell just by even the commentators, their hype and everything was different about it, because they had fans that they were excited. It was a big night for them, and it was good that it went off as a bang.
That was a fight deserving of fans. I was glad that they got the cheers they deserve. Peter says he thinks Dan should stay retired. Hardy, not you, Dan. He's a very good analyst.
Losing record anyway.
Oh, I totally get that angle as well. You know, he is a good analyst, but
I would say this.
DC's an analyst as well, right? And he was still fighting throughout his career, so
yeah.
you know, I don't see.
Look at Felder. Felder,
Exactly.
yeah,
exactly. You know, it doesn't.
you know, I'm sure Dan Mum is saying this, but Dan still trains. You know, he still does a workout. He still goes for his runs. You know, he's not just an analyst sitting there doing sweet fuck all, so to speak. He still runs. He still trains. He's, you know, I know he trains with Jim Wallhead as well. A couple of guys up at his gym. So you know, he's active. He does it. So I think it's just when he feels ready to do it, and when the call comes, he'll do it. You know. So I'm looking forward to it if it does happen. I think it will happen.
I hear Dan is not a great postman.
He's crap.
All them letters.
First of all, hide them sweat patches, yeah? Before
Don't worry about my sweat,
right? Second of all,
letters.
you're right. My mail's always late around my areas because people like Postman Dan and his company's crew never on time. Useless. Useless, mate.
Daniel can vouch for this. I do not deliver, yeah, in Elton, mate. Right?
Listen, Chiseler, right? The Jew Samuel can't talk, okay? Because he lives near the Ferrier estate. So no.
That's that private joke, baby.
It's a private joke. Love you, really, Jude.
Oh well, I'm from that part of the world as well, so I know the Ferrier estate.
There you go.
UMMA Scotland says, how can someone become an MMA referee?
Go on, Amidi.
There's no specific, in terms of qualifications, nothing kind of specific you need to do in the UK because it's not a regulated sport in the UK. Obviously, you know, what we advise people to do is to kind of really shadow on shows. It's the best way to learn, but you need to be in love with the sport. You need to ensure if you're doing MMA you want to be a referee or an official, you're doing it for the right reasons because of the love of the sport, because you want to make a change in the sport or be a part of a growing sport for the right reasons. So first thing is obviously shadowing people is key. I know Mark Goddard does the kind of UK math courses for judging and referees.
IMAF.
IMAF, sorry, UK math. Oh,
he's going to kill you.
I thought UK math, he's going to kill me. So IMAF, Mark, sorry. So it does those courses. They're really, really intuitive courses. They're brilliant to jump on. Honestly, his knowledge in the sport is phenomenal, and he doesn't do them probably as often because obviously he's a busy man. You know, he's traveling the world doing events. But whenever he can squeeze one in, he will do, whether it's in the UK or somewhere else in Europe. It's definitely worth trying to jump on that course because it will kind of help really enhance your knowledge. But as I say, you know, we've taken people on under our wings that we've tried to mentor. You know, jump on shows, go and learn the shows, you know, learn everything that they do, what the commission does, what the judge does, what the referee does. Just be around the show, start learning, ask questions if you don't know.
Be around the right people as well.
Be around the right people, yeah. People that actually want to make a difference and doing the right things in the sport, you know. Not people that are, you know, trying to take shortcuts, because that's where you will learn the wrong habits. You want to learn the right habits, you know, what's right, what's wrong, and ensuring you're sticking to the right side of the rules criteria or just the standard of the shows that you want to obviously implement going forward. You know, the last thing we want, especially in this country, and the fact that it's not a regulated sport, is, you know, and I'll highlight having shows like QFC. You know, they're them kind of shows. You know, if
they're not shows, that's not shows,
but you know what I mean. You know, it's that kind of level, that kind of stuff where there's no standard to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to be around the right people. If you know a really experienced official, referee, judge, just drop them a message. I'm sure they'll be willing to help, as long as you also put that effort in. You know, that's the key thing. You need willing to put that effort in, put the miles in, and be willing to learn and listen.
And I think sounds right. And also, once you can, and think the other thing is do some sort of training that's in regards with the sport that you want to officiate. However, obviously MMA, stand up, groundwork, BJJ, whatever it may be. Just because at the end of the day, when you get to a level in your refereeing, you've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to know your craft. You've got to know that. You've got to know what you're looking out for. So yeah, like Sam said, all the above that he just said, try to jump on a course again. Our fellow referee Mark Goddard again does the IMAF courses when he can. Obviously, proving difficult at the moment because we can't have any crowds and whatnot. But definitely worth doing. And again, Sam and I are always there to, if anyone wants to reach out, give some advice, happy to do so. But you know, it's right at the moment there's no shows to do. So
Yeah. No, I really want to do one of those courses when when COVID's over.
100%, 100%. You know, and I know it's different. Like as much as we sit here and talk, right, and we say, you know, give our bit of insight and what's what. When you actually sit down in the classroom and someone's actually breaking it down for you, and he's done it so many times, and he presents it to you. Even when Sam and I went on one just to help out and be a part of one of the judges' courses, always learning, always picking things and going, oh yeah, shit, maybe I should look at it like that. Or, you know, it's given to you in a different context. It's honestly, it's for not just for judges, referees, but like I said before, for commentators, for journalists, for fans,
fighters, coaches,
yeah.
Really, really good way to enhance your knowledge, especially if you're really passionate about the sport.
Yeah.
So what happens?
And I think like MMA has come such a long way. Like we got to keep like that level of regulation and education kind of. It might not be regulated, but most of the shows that I attend are such a high standard. Like the safety aspect is at such a high standard. And we want to keep it there because you know what the public are like, or the media. If something was to happen, doesn't matter if it's at an event like QFC that none of us would consider kind of part of what we do. As far as, you know, like the Daily Mail would see it, it would be cage fighting, like injury or whatever. So yeah, I'd like people to do it the right way. On Top Promotions said if referees had an MMA tournament and fought each other, who would win?
Listen, I think God on.
Hold on. Who's in the
tournament? Yeah, who's in the tournament? That's it. Give us some names.
Well, you two have got to be in it. We'll have Mark Goddard in it as well.
Listen, I'm wrong with that bastard. But I'm not going to sit here and go, yeah, I'll beat him, because I'll get. Sam's the one who needs to roll with him at the moment. Keeps calling him out. He ain't rolling with him.
Do all of you train?
At some aspects train, yeah. Sort of training like Leon, Mark, Rich, Selby, Sam. Yeah, most of the referees that we work with, and the judges as well, do some sort of training at some sort of level. And that was a fortunate thing when I done last Cage Warriors. That we was in a bubble. We did get to train. Officials did get to have a roll around us. You know,
I'm so jealous.
To me, left, right, and centre. It was good. It was fun.
Oh, I can't wait to train again. Moving on. So I just wanted to talk about Wednesday's card because we're gifted a little midweek card. I think it starts about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, 2 is it?
Yeah, first fight. Yeah, lovely.
2 p.m.
Beautiful. Yeah.
You do your post round quickly that day, won't you?
100%. I know you there.
So we got a few Brits on the card. We've got Mason Jones making his UFC debut. He's got a big fight. Like I feel like, I know there's no easy fights, but I feel like the Brits have had some really tough fights in the UFC recently. But he's got his debut on Wednesday. We've got Lerone Murphy on the card. So excited to see him back in there. Like, he's just looked sensational, the fights that he's had in the UFC so far. And we've got Tom Breeze on the card as well. So shout out to all the Brits. I'm buzzing. But this was obviously the card that we were supposed to see Leon Edwards taking on Chimaev. Is this turning into Tony Ferguson?
But they're rescheduling it, correct? They're rescheduling.
Yeah, for March. Yeah.
Like, part of the business, you know. That's what happens, you know. And again, you know, I'm fortunate and fortunate. Unfortunately, obviously, it's not happening. I'm fortunate they're still keeping it on a card whenever they reschedule it, and it's happening. And and who better to do it than the UFC, I guess. So they've got two guys there, and they'll make it happen.
That fight will be in Vegas now, right?
Yeah. So I just feel like Leon's had a really rough time of it. Like it's been a long time since he was in the cage now, and he was supposed to be on the London card last year that was cancelled. That's when they were telling him get on a plane and come to the States. And we don't know where, but you'll be fighting Woodley, and then that whole card got cancelled, and it was just. It was a shit show. Then he got taken out the rankings because he wouldn't fight who they said. Then he's agreed to fight Shimaev, and then that fight's been cancelled twice. So fingers crossed that one goes ahead in March.
It makes it a good story,
It's just, right?
Yeah, but I feel like COVID just adds just this other layer of just things to be worried about stopping the fight from happening.
Did Leon get COVID first and then Chimaev got COVID for the second one, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I don't even know if it was like he thought he would be ready in time. So I don't even think he had it that recently. It's just he hasn't recovered as well as he thought he would. Yeah.
But you know what? Again, the big companies such as the UFC and Bellator, they'll do, they'll make things happen for their fighters, and lucky enough that they got the drive and the push to put shows on, and that fight will happen at some point, even during this pandemic.
It will, but they're not there. Obviously, the lights on the rest of the guys that are on the actual card. Obviously, you mentioned Mason Jones, and he's had a phenomenal career in Cage Warriors, and he is a serious talent. You just watch him technically and how confident he is as well, and at his age as well. It's just, I'm so jealous. He's motivation, but what can I do, right? No chance. I know he really is a phenomenal talent. He's got a good matchup as well. He's Leroy Murphy as well. So Leroy won twice now. Is that right? This is his third fight.
Didn't he get a draw in the first one? It was a short notice fight, and he drew against the Russian. It's really long, isn't it? Khabib's coming. One of his millions of cousins.
That was it. I know, fair play to him. He's again, exceptionally talented as well. So
the bonus last time, I'm really looking forward to seeing him. And Tom Breeze got the bonus last time as well. So we know all of these guys can put on a show, and I just think it's so beautiful when it's on at a good time for us.
It is, but we're fortunate as well to have 3 events in a space of a week. We've been spoiled here.
We are. And then Saturday's event is the return of Conor versus Dustin. Huge fight. Unfortunately for us, back to 3 a.m. for the main card. And it's a pay-per-view. So that's the downside. But
that's why they're going after the first 2.
Mason doesn't eat KFC and Burger King at the same time. That probably helps.
Probably does, to be fair, Peter. As I said, I've given up a long time ago, so why not? Might enjoy
it. When you get nutrition tips from Peter Knox, the world is upside down. You should see some of his dinners. These are company men here, Peter, so I'm sure they are. Is anyone paying for the UFC on Saturday?
No, we can't put that out there, can we? You don't want MMA UK to shut down now, do you?
You guys are staying up to watch the fight, right?
Well, I haven't decided yet.
Oh, come on.
What I might do is go to bed and wake up for it.
Yeah. Right,
I always end up falling asleep and then just spoiling it for myself.
You stand up then?
Yeah, I might do this.
Don't call me. I'll put my phone on silent and I'm going to sleep.
It's all right. You won't be able to talk to me anyway.
And this is also where we see Michael Chandler make his UFC debut. And he's got Dan Hooker, something that's been talked about for years. And no doubt that was put on the same card just in case anything happens to the main event as well. But we did have Max Holloway offering to step in, which
Did he?
noble as that was, yeah, he's like, if anything happens, I'm here, I'm going to still be here. As he's got blood gushing from his eyebrow. Like, I know that he absolutely dominated that fight, but that was 5 rounds of like that kind of output. How exhausting that was. Just, I don't want to see him back in there on Saturday. I wouldn't have thought the commission would clear him anyway, but that wouldn't be the best of him. So yeah, that's looking like a good card too. And the UK representation on that card's Jojo Calderwood. She's facing Jessica Rai, so got a Brit on that card as well. But then, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, it's good. Obviously, they've got the Fire Island going on again to be able to get all the European and the Russians on there as well. Because obviously, in the States, obviously, they've got all the guys from over there. So he's good. It's good in a way that they're still managing to still put these shows on. You know, it's good. I think again, we've been spoiled as not just as an official who's been fortunate enough to work for those guys, but just as a fan, as a sports fan, I can't wait. You know, and again, we'll be watching it as an official kind of eye and judging the fights and looking at that aspect, and also as a fan. So I'm pretty stoked for it. And if you two ain't staying up, I'll be very disappointed on Saturday.
I might go to sleep and then wake up for the main card.
I'm going to send Sam a bucket of KFC or Morley's chicken at 1 a.m.
I don't need to stay up if I order some food like wings and do it now all now. But I done one of those a few weeks ago, and my in-laws decided to turn up pre-lockdown. Ordered myself some chicken wings at like 2 in the morning, like 1 in the morning, something like that, and then they decided to turn up 1 in the morning because they're in the area. Just spoiled my whole evening. So.
What were they doing in the area? But that's
basically, you know. So I had to quickly. Well, I didn't even get to eat my chicken wings properly. But they turned up, they sat down, and then the delivery guy knocked on the door, and I was like, "Do you guys want me to order you some food?" Oh, I'll just eat these whilst you guys sit there, enjoy.
Well, I'm glad you don't hold a grudge about that, Sam.
No, you don't.
I do. I still back on about it.
It must have been a while ago because we've been in lockdown for ages.
Yeah, it was about 5 weeks ago. 4 or 5 weeks ago, huh?
Summer, that was, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't summer, Joker.
But I think something must be happening with the visas in the States, and like they must be easier or going through now for some of the UK guys, because we've got quite a few guys coming up at those Vegas cards as well. And we were talking about Edwards, but then we've also got Jai Herbert. He's oh my God, what a matchup that is against Jakar Close. A really tough fight. He had a really tough fight in his UFC debut. And I spoke to him the other day. I'm just like, that fight, I think, is going to be electric. Excited for that one. Molly's got a fight coming up. The dentist has got a fight coming up. His fight's against Eric Anders. That's going to be phenomenal. Like, I'm buzzing for these. Modestus has got another fight coming up. We just, Tom
Aspinall got a fight coming up as well.
Tom Aspinall, yeah. Oh, it's going to be great.
Some great representation in the UK, I'll tell you that now. Some phenomenal.
Really is. And you guys have been refereeing some of them guys through their, like earlier on in their career and earlier on in the promotions they were in before. Like, that's what I love. I really love watching these guys through their career, see them go through Cage Warriors or go through wherever. Fight Star has had some UFC guys on the cards. Like, it's phenomenal to see them go on and do well.
That's credit to the promotions as well. Like you said, Cage Warriors Academy, Cage Warriors themselves, Fight Star, Contenders. They're the credit where credit's due. It's down to the type of event and getting those guys through those rankings in the UK to be noticed, to eventually go on to the UFC. You know, it's pretty cool.
Really cool.
Wow.
UMMA says, will Khabib fight again, and who did he fight?
I don't know. I mean, I would have thought this fight on Saturday is gonna potentially sway that, depending on who wins. It's interesting to see.
I wonder if he's tempting Conor, and he's just got no intention, and then he's just going to move to 170 and have a fight there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. I mean, I think he'll have one more fight. I do think he'll want that 30-0. Tribute for is obviously his dad passing away as well, who really wanted him to get to 30-0. So it'd be interesting.
Either way, he's done a great thing for the sport, hasn't he? Whether he comes back or not, he's done amazing things for the sport, and obviously I think he's got his own promotion coming on now as well.
Yeah,
cool. You know, giving something back. So either way, whether he fights again or doesn't fight again, he's definitely up there for as a fan, seeing him fight. He's up there for the MMA. You know, he's done great stuff for it.
He seemed to be a decent footballer from those footages I saw. He scored a worldie. Honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. It was really strange. Oh, so we've got a Cage Warriors trilogy coming up as well. It's only a couple of months away, yeah. So not too far. So I think all that's been announced so far is Jordan Vucenic is fighting for the featherweight belt against Morgan Charrier. He's going to be coming on for an interview soon, but he's looked phenomenal. He's well, every fight he's had in Cage Warriors, and that last fight against Paul Hughes, how good was that fight for a fan?
It was very good. You know, like I said, I was fortunate enough to be there, cage side, watching that, and obviously I had this one here messaging me, going, "Oh, it's an amazing fight, isn't it?" Messaging, but again, like I said, we're constantly like messaging each other about, you know, how did you score, how did you steal, you know, etc. Yeah, both guys gave a good account of themselves, you know, and it was, I think, did I get fight of the year?
I don't know.
But for me, certainly, probably was. Like, for me, it's definitely top 2-3 fights of the year, because that was just quality. It was so well matched.
We you know, we're talking about this whole pandemic thing going on, and we're blessed to have MMA, you know, the sport we guys love, to be able to sit down and watch these fights. You know, it's amazing. I love it. And again, that fight itself, the trilogy coming up again, I'm interested to see what Ian Dean can, what he's got hidden away in his pockets, what matchup he's going to be.
He's superb, absolutely superb. I say it all the time. He's just a phenomenal matchmaker, and just
he is a good matchmaker, and again, he's a fan of the sport, and I think that's where it makes a difference as well. You know, he matches, and he gives everyone a fair shot as well.
Yeah. But they do a really good job as well of like getting you invested in the fighters and kind of getting you to know them, and the storylines kind of make sense, and you can follow the route to the title, if you know what I mean. And even just with them announcing that featherweight title fight, you kind of know out of 4 others they'll all be fighting each other, and if they win, who's going to be next. And that's what I love about it, and I just think it's going to be great. I'm really hoping they're going to allow media there, because they're selling tickets for fans. Obviously, the longer this lockdown goes on, I don't know what's going to happen with the fan aspect of it, but they've proven that they can hold events no matter what's going on, and they've got the government sign off and everything. So
that's
the
a big
event will be going ahead.
The whole government sign off, and that's, you know, made a lot of difference, you know, and for someone to be able to train and do the things they need to do. But you're talking about fan aspects. I can't remember the name, but there was obviously they done a competition last time, didn't they?
Yeah.
2 fans get to stay the whole week and enjoy the show, etc. And it was crazy seeing two. I think it was a husband and wife over there, you know, just cheering on these fighters and being there around the hotel the whole week.
Really?
And, absolutely.
They got tested and everything, right? As well.
Yeah, that's why they had to go for the week, because they had to be in the bubble with everyone else. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
You know, they got the
prize
and all that. So that was a pretty cool thing for them, for Cage Warriors to put out there, and obviously to cater for them to be there. And they got, I mean, they done, you know, when they do the dry run of all the camera work and the fighters walk out and all that. So they used them a couple of times to yeah, they absolutely. And the best bit was on the final day when they had them in the cage. They end up getting Goddard in there and put them in the middle and give them like, you know, you've had your rules talks at the back. You know what to expect.
That's the
you know.
That's the fan experience.
Yeah, exactly. You know, which I thought was a good touch on Cage Warriors' part. You know.
Oh, amazing! Imagine being there for a week as a fan. That would have been amazing.
How jealous would you have been, Katie?
I was very jealous. I was extremely jealous. I entered, of course, the competition. Peter says, Ole needs to sign Khabib up.
Yes, Peter. Yes, Peter. He does, because we're on a run here, so no football talk, but yeah. If I was
a matchmaker, I would match Sam versus Dan. Who would win? I don't want to see this fight.
Sam would win on the weight advantage.
You whatever, mate. Leave off. I'll just knock him in a couple of wrist locks and it's over.
Did everybody hear that? Wrist locks, yeah? Okay. Check my Instagram out in about 10 minutes after this show, okay? Now the gentleman on Instagram, Sam Amidi loves wrist locks. Oh, just put that one there. Now he's worried.
I ain't worried. I've got some stuff on you. You don't start, yeah?
Okay, don't get all hyped with me.
I'll be putting that picture of Pickett, yeah, and me.
No.
I was training Pickett that time. Yeah, if you're listening to this, I'll give him his second lesson another time when we get a chance.
No, don't worry about that. Just check my Instagram.
Well, guys, that's everything I had for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or throw out there?
No, not really. Just you know, as like with everyone, guys, be patient. Hopefully, you know, we will get the local shows coming back soon. You know, health and safety first. Hopefully, you guys are safe. Just want to give obviously a little bit of a shout out to Figure 8, who obviously look after us, as well as Mauler MMA. So
I've just got to say, Mauler has been keeping me in my lockdown attire. I don't think I ever wear anything other than a Mauler tracksuit anymore. And it's kindly sent me some t-shirts as well. They are the best.
Shout out to Fred, who's my eating partner when we was away in Italy and France.
We love you, Fred.
Honestly, what a legend. Great guy. And you know, just shout out to all you guys, fans, you know, other officials, everyone that we kind of work with, you know, media. Just looking forward to obviously having the shows back, and you know, hopefully seeing you guys at a show.
That's it. Yeah, I think so. Sam, you know, rounded out well. Again, everyone stay safe, and again, we're grateful for the stuff that we do. And again, I think earlier when the UMMA Scotland was messaging, if you guys, anyone wants any help with refereeing or any advice, either hit myself and Sam up, and we can guide you in the right direction and who to speak to and what courses to take. And yeah, that's it really. But again, thanks for having us, Katie, on the shows. Like I said, recently I haven't had no chance of speaking to the guy who's on the call with us right now for this long. Haven't been lucky enough to hear his voice though. So he's either busy, or his wife's got him doing something, or he's eating, or his kids interrupting. That's nice to speak uninterrupted.
You missed me. Katie, do you mind me asking, who's that a picture of you with in the background? I can't tell.
That's Nate.
Yeah.
Nate,
I thought so, but I was like, has he got a hood or is that hair?
Yeah, he's got a hood on.
Okay, cool. I thought it was Nate.
That was
Hold on, there's a bit of favouritism going on there.
Yeah.
What's that?
Interest there, Dad, no?
I thought you would have had the picture of Sam and I in the background as your favourite referees.
Well, at least you, innit, when you raised that hand, Dad. Where's that picture?
You are on my wall of fame in my dressing room. I've got like photos all over the wall, and you guys are up there. There's one of both of you from Rock, and then dancing another one, raising my hand. I think you're by the cage door, Sam.
Oh, well, you can't see the background.
But thank you so much, guys. It's always so good to have you on and to chat to you. And just as soon as there's some more events going on, let's catch up again and talk about them, because it's always a pleasure.
100%. Thank you very much as well, Faye.
Thanks so much, everyone. Take care. Thanks for watching.